What do I have for you today? Well, that is a very interesting setting to be. I bought a bubble blaster. Now, I bought this from one of those bin stores, and I haven't tested it out, and the reason I haven't tested it out is because it takes a proprietary battery pack. And I don't have said battery pack. What I do have is a bunch of batteries. Now, in addition to, it matches 3.7 volts. These are, this one doesn't say. I don't think it matters all that much. I'm guessing it takes something like that, but who knows? In fact, that'd be nice and beefy. Have some mega time going on. This one does not actually say a voltage or milliamp hours at all. However, it's like anywhere between 4.2 and I think 2.5 volts is what they charge down to, something like that. And the reason I don't think it matters all that much, let me just protect this battery terminals again. The reason I don't think it matters all that much is all it's doing is operating a fan motor. I don't know if you can see that. I'm not going to take this whole thing apart, but I'm guessing since it's a 3.7 volt input that it's a 6 volt motor, and that's not really going to make the biggest difference in the world. I didn't realize it had LEDs on it either. Oh well, if I pop them, I pop them. I can always put my own LEDs in later. Actually, you know what? Let's go ahead and pop this sucker open. Let's see. Come on. I'm not sure the LEDs are going to be affected much from it. Looking at all that's in there. But the first thing that I am going to require to be tasked with, see if we can get some of this plastic out. Okay. Oh, and they've tied it into a bunch of knots. I'm just trying to get a little more bite out of there we go. A little more bite out of this piece of whip. And that way I can have this end for some other project later on down the line once if I find anything that this can connect to. I think that's about all I really need. I'll just throw that believe this one's positive and this one's negative. So ha. Did the LEDs light up? Yeah. Oh, that's going to be nice. However, I'm not just going to cram these wires onto this and then have some sort of euphemism of charger hanging onto it. In fact, I don't like how this piece of lead is just sort of sticking off there. Okay. What I'm going to do, I'm going to trim it to about there. And I believe this is some sort of nickel strip, which is useful for soldering to. And again, I'm not just going to cram the battery onto it. In fact, I have all kinds of weird stuff with parts in it, and ta-da! And these are the TP405C, I believe. And what we do here is voltage out positive, voltage out negative, and then the battery in positive, battery in negative, and then we can just open up the compartment, charge it, and have fun. So what I think I'm going to do here, okay, let's go ahead and get some other wire. Let's see what I got. This is pretty chunky, beefy wire right here. That ought to be enough. Piece of wire, piece of wire. And at some point, I should probably do an electrical safety video. Do not hook the wires up to the battery and then hook them up to the charger. Do it the other way around. Hook the wires up to the charger, then hook the wires up to the battery. Why do we do this, you ask? It prevents short circuits between the wire terminals. Because, okay, say you have the wires attached to the battery. Then you strip one, you strip the other one, and as you're getting the wires, you plug it in, and then as you're getting ready to solder this one in, it pops out, and then it just shorts right to the terminal. That the negative terminal. That will send off quite a huge spark out into the open, which you know, it's not the biggest deal in the world as long as it doesn't like just sit there and stay connected. Um, it'll be fine. It's small discharge, big deal. However, if you have flammable stuff floating about in the area, then you know, liable to ignite it. So I'm gonna go ahead and solder that one. Solder that one. And I don't say that as, you know, someone who keeps flammable liquids on my workbench often. In fact, I would doubt that I have very many flammable things near my workbench. But when I was very first starting out doing this, I was my workbench was essentially a dresser that I had converted into having all of these gator clips and lamp clips and stuff all over the place. So I'm not opposed to having been in dangerous situations when doing all of my electrical work. However, at that point in time, lithium batteries were not that big of a thing at the time, and I was still mostly just working with AA's and AAA's and coin cell batteries and doing things that way. So, battery charger, done. Next, I'm going to solder the terminals of the bubble blaster. Let's see. I have no idea where that music is coming from. I hope that it's not loud enough to trigger the YouTube overlords. And I don't know, I might just try and keep talking so that my voice overpowers whatever ambient sounds are going on above or below me. Because it's, I don't know, I'm not opposed to listening to music while I'm doing my work, but I'm recording right now. So, whatever it is, I would greatly appreciate not get a copyright strike against. And, you know, again, the reason I'm soldering all of the wires to the non-powered, to the non-powered portion of the circuit is because the battery is going to go on last. And I'm, again, I do not want any sort of short circuit, and as you can see there, I just I accidentally barely touched the solder joint of the one for the battery terminal, and it just fell right out. That could have done something a little more than what it did. So I'm going to tuck this one down here. And I have these jewelry pliers for rolling, curling, coiling, different things. So maybe I should have made the negative terminal just a little bit more, give it a little more bite. Actually, I'm going to coil that one around the other way, just like I did with the positive. And then danger time. Yeah, check this out. Do as I do. Don't do as I do. This is so janky the way I'm doing it. Sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do. Especially when you don't have proprietary clamps for things like a battery. I'm hoping that one's nice and secure. And then this one, that seems to work out pretty well right there. Now that is done. And it doesn't work. So, what do we do in this situation? Well, I think these things have to be charged in order to activate the circuitry. So I'm just gonna try doing it. Just plug it into charge a little bit, unplug it. Well, it is working-ish. I wonder if the battery itself is charged enough to cause the motor to spin and the LEDs to light up, but that the overall resistances and other factors in this chip are preventing the motor from spinning. See, I can hear that drawing a lot of current. Maybe what I will have to do is hook the motor and LEDs directly to the battery and then just have the battery connected to the charger. The only issue with that, if you have something that is directly connected, you're going to want a power switch. I'm not 100% sure what to do in this situation aside from desoldering these wires from the output and soldering them directly to the battery. That would not necessarily cause any problems unless there is an under voltage. You're not supposed to undercharge or over discharge these batteries because that causes damage to the batteries, other stuff, blah blah blah. Real quick though, I just want to see if all of this fits in here and the door closes. That seems to work out pretty well. Another thing I might alternatively do is run a USB port to the bottom here, or maybe the outside here, so that I don't have to open this at all. Just plug it in, charge it, and then, because every time you move it, that causes a slight strain on everything that's going on in here, and you don't really want to cause strain to all these wire connections, because then it's going to snap, and then you're going to have to redo all of the work that you just put into it. And that's why if you ever open stuff and you see a big glob of hot glue holding something in place, that's because they don't want that piece to move. But I'll let you know how it goes, and I will get back to you. Thank you guys so much for watching.